how do you reclaim your power? Look at those things which have power over you. What has power over you? Fear, the business not going right, money has power over you, the lack of money has power over you, certain people that you have issues with or problems with. So I'm going to suggest to you, if you want to reclaim your power, and that, by the way, to accomplish anything in life requires power. Not power over people, but power within. When you have, the more power you have within, the more you can begin to manifest that which is important to you, which matters to you. And so if you set your intention, or intentions, by the way, and every morning I have this page called Intentions in my computer, and I pull them up and I look at them. These are my intentions. So I have to be present to them, but I allow them and let go, and I accept that they will manifest. So the more power you have, the more they can manifest. In fact, you'll get to the point, like a lot of the people that were in my coaching program that I've coached, that they only have to think about something. In fact, Linda, the gal I was talking about, Linda Griffin is her name. She lives in Illinois. She was at one of my seminars later because when I go to the city, they come. And I said, Linda, come on up here. And I asked the audience, because they knew her, and they knew her when she wasn't doing any business. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, Linda, when do you prospect? And she said, she looked at me and said, should I tell them the truth? At this point, she was making $300,000-400,000. Right. Should I tell them the truth? I said, yeah, absolutely. And she says, I don't prospect. She says, in fact, the other day I was driving the car, and I said to myself, I need a big listing. And then my phone rang, and somebody said, come over and list my house. So now, by the way, did she do that, the first month? No. But right. When you alter your consciousness and when you think possibility, you are possibility. And then you have that power and that presence, right? So whenever these things are getting to you, by the way, you want to remind yourself who you are. You're a child of God. You're related to God. God is omnipotent. God is all-powerful, all-present. Remind yourself of who you are. Right. Instead of being small, right, and getting stressed out. Now, by the way, here's an insight that most people love, which is about stress or fear. When you try to get rid of fear, what do you get?
More stress.
More stress, more fear, called anxiety.
Right.
And then I'll give you a definition for anxiety. My definition for anxiety is mismanaging the consequence of something that hasn't happened yet.
Mismanaging?
The consequence of something that hasn't happened yet.
Elaborate on that. How
well,
do you mismanage?
Okay. So if you try to get rid of the fear, then the thing that you fear is a possibility.
All right.
But your interpretation of it is you're a reaction to the thing that you fear. Like, for an example, you won't have enough money to pay your bills.
Okay.
You have too much month at the end of the money. Okay.
Right.
All right. So you get fearful. Is that a state you want to be in order to produce the outcome?
No.
No, because it's not going to produce the outcome. So anxiety is that heightened state of fear. You feel it in your chest. You feel it in your gut, wherever you feel it. I mean, we know that physical sensation. You have to then, so if you respond to fear or anxiety, is that the response to fear is to try to get rid of fear, to try to avoid fear, to try to not think about it. Well, no, it's going to be present. It's present. You need to have some resources to move beyond the fear. Some people pray. Some people use a process. I teach people a process in 2 minutes to release fear. I'll give you a little insight on the process, and it's not that this is not a great forum to do that process. By the way, in the Turning Point event, which is my 3-day event, I cover all this stuff in depth, but The difference is that I take you through the process. You want to change your beliefs? I take you through a process to change your beliefs. Okay, so first belief, if you only make $80,000, you want to make $160,000, that's the first belief you have to change. Next is you have to change your belief about yourself, to find yourself acceptable. That's a self-esteem issue, right? That you need to feel worthy of it. Lots of people don't make the money because they don't feel worthy of it, or if they make it, they can't continue to operate at that level because they don't feel worthy of it. So, but all these things can be altered or shifted very easily, quite frankly, if you understand the process. But I tell people just to show up, I'll do the rest. And I take them through these exercises or processes to change their self-esteem, to change their self-image. Self-image is a byproduct of how our parents viewed us as a child. You know, the reflection in their eyes, that's how we viewed ourselves. Smart, not so smart. You're not so smart. Don't expect a lot. Okay. You might be disappointed, and I hate to see you unhappy. So we know that we're a lot more than that potential. So what if, and we've all had moments in our lives where we are capable of incredible things and we accomplish wonderful things. In fact, I would call that times when you're relating to your higher self. And maybe a lot of you are kind of stuck in your lower self, if you will, kind of thinking, okay? So just to remind yourself who you are. Remind yourself of what you've accomplished. So I do a process to change people's self-image, and then I have them test. Try to get the old self-image back. It won't come back. What's left is the new self-image. So if you did nothing more than to change your view of yourself, you immediately would expect more and get more.
Right.
I've been studying quantum physics for some time now, and it's fascinating stuff because at a quantum level, we talk about breakthroughs or quantum is a measurement, a quantum leap is instantaneous measurement. So in quantum physics, miracles are natural occurrences in quantum physics. And our view of reality, the way we view life, and we have, again, this way of viewing life through our filters. We tend to see life a certain way, so we have to change some of our filters. One of our filters, by the way, are beliefs. One of our filters are values, and then the other filters are metaprograms or unconscious patterns of behavior. For an example, when you're working with buyers and sellers, some are motivated by possibilities, carrots, if you will. Some are motivated only by fear of loss, sticks. If you know which one they're motivated by, you either introduce fear, you put them in pain, they will sign the contract. And let me tell you something, 58% of your prospects are carrot people and 42% are sticks people. So if you're trying to motivate them with incentives, anyone who has children knows this. Teenagers they move away from what they should move toward.
Right.
That's just where they are. Mm-hmm. And my son, when he was 14, every time I tried to get him to go with me, he wouldn't want to go. So I learned this, and I would go and I'd say, and I'd make it sound really good. I put some carrots out there. I'm going to this great place, like great restaurant and this and that, mall and whatever. And I'd say, but I know you don't want to go. And then I'd start to walk out of the room.
Right.
Wait a minute, how much time? Oh, you don't want to go. I know you don't want to go.
Right.
Oh, well, wait a minute, how long do I have to get ready? I'll get ready right away. Well, are you sure? Yeah. Okay, fine, I'll wait for you. But a lot of you out there in that audience, you are people who move away from pain. In fact, a good test is when things get really bad is when you really get going. But then when things get good, sometimes you withdraw your energies. It helps to understand yourself a little bit better. So the business of transformation, again, is just acceptance. The business of reclaiming your power is this process, what we've been talking about, and to also remind yourself of who you are and what you're capable of, because your capacity is infinite. You use 6% of your mental powers and 7% of your energies. That's why every now and then we read some story about the child somehow was underneath a car and it was going to crush the child, and the mother walks over and lifts the car.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. How did she do that? Well,
right.
She couldn't do it again if you said, go lift the car now. No. But in that moment, so we have this capacity, this infinite capacity. We have this power. But it's like Abraham Maslow said, everyone has infinite potential, but it must be actualized. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to offer to coach 5 people complimentary because of Eric's power radio. And I'm gonna coach 5 people. I'm gonna do a one-on-one coaching session with you. And in after our little, I'll tell you how to get one of the coaching sessions. You send me an email. You send it to Stephen Cates, like on the flyer, Stephen with a V, Cates with a C, C-A-T-E-S, Stephen Cates at Cates, C-A-T-E-S, I-N-T-L, short for international. So Stephen Cates at Cates, INTL.com. And you say, I would like a complimentary coaching session with you. And the other thing I want you to tell me is I want you to tell me how much you earned last year, how much you want to earn this year, and I want you to tell me where you're located. You're in breakdown, you're doing well, you're apathetic. Well, you're not that apathetic if you're writing me. Wherever you are, you're in stability, you're struggling, you're doing good, doing well, want to do better, whatever it is. Just let me know that much. And then you'll get a call, and we'll set an appointment right away for next week.
Steve, let me ask you, why are people reluctant to get coaching? I mean, for some it might be a financial reason. They just can't afford it, and maybe that's a limiting belief. And for others, they just, for some reason, they don't either make the time or commitment to receive any type of coaching. And, I mean, just the time that we spent together this morning, I've learned a lot. And it is empowering to understand, to have a better understanding of where you're at and why you are, or why you do what you do and think what you think.
Well, a lot of it's pride. I don't need it. I know what to do. I got some news for you. It ain't what you do. People that do 10 times your business, they don't do more than you do. They don't even work as hard as you work, probably. So it's pride, and as you know the line from Proverbs, pride goeth before the fall.
That's right.
Yeah, so you let go of your pride. I ask for help all the time. Not all the time, but if I find someone that, and I tend to seek out people who are doing stuff that I'm not doing. They're doing better than me. They're whatever, Mm-hmm. And I ask for help. I'm not shy about asking for help or asking for insight into what and how and so on. And I have a coach. I get coached. Here's the thing. You cannot coach yourself. You can talk to yourself, but you've been doing that your whole life. In some cases, it didn't work.
Right.
In fact, it got you more deep in.
Mm-hmm.
See, again, that thing about thinking what you think, do what you do.
Right.
So you can't coach yourself. Here's another thing. You can't see what you can't see. You have no distance on the situation. I teach this stuff. I do seminars. I write. I can't get enough learning, read books every day and so on, half the night. And I'll have a coaching session coming up, and I'll think, I ought to change that coaching session. And I think, no, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So after the session, I think, wow, that was great. Why? Because they have a distance on the situation, and whatever happened, whatever occurred during the session, it just elevated my consciousness, and I got clarity on my situation. It isn't about the information. See, there was a time when information was hard to get. Information is power, right?
Right.
But not anymore. In fact, there's so much information, there's too much information. Information is only power if it's actualized. Like Maslow said, infinite potential, it must be actualized.